For the second consecutive year, this great crowd and gorgeous Kentucky Speedway provide the setting for tonight's high-speed, bumper-to-bumper NASCAR battle in the Bluegrass State.
The Craftsman Truck Series is where the stars of tomorrow are racing tonight. Ricky Hendrick on the heels of his first career Truck Series victory, and he would like to make it 2 in a row. Fellow rookie Travis Quaffle is tired of finishing second and wants to find victory lane. 19-year-old John Wood, with only 4 starts, overcame this spin and finished 4th in Kansas. And Scott Briggs, with 2 victories this season, has dominated the series point standings. Which star will shine in Kentucky tonight? Hendrick, Quaffle, Wood, or Briggs, all 4 are capable of stardom. But after the big win in Kansas, Ricky Hendrick has been glowing all week and will surely shine the brightest tonight. From the outside front row, this young rookie is racing his Kansas-winning truck with tons of confidence, a fired-up pit crew, and after an approved engine change, fresh BNR horsepower. But to win, he'll have to pass some highly experienced racers.
The old guard of the Truck Series is made up of veterans with a lot of laps and a ton of success. Sprague, Musgrave, Rutman, and Setzer have a total of over 400 career starts, and each has a victory in 2001. From the super speedways to the short tracks, if experience is the name of the game, these thoroughbreds may take the ponies to task tonight in Kentucky. The horse race to victory lane has been among the top 4 qualifiers in every race so far this year. Now let's take a look at the 2001 race winners and where they qualified. You see, the pole position has been a pretty fruitful starting spot, as Musgrave, Briggs, and Rutman have all won from number 1 starting spot. Now, second fast qualifiers picked up 3 wins so far this year. And the third fast qualifier has also been a good starting spot with 4 victories. Now, just 1 win so far this year for the 4th fastest qualifier. That was Dennis Setzer back in Memphis. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is that tonight here at Kentucky, we have a nice mix of seasoned veterans and up-and-coming young guns in those first 4 starting positions. Folks, I see no reason why tonight the winner won't come from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, presents NASCAR. Tonight live from the picturesque Kentucky Speedway in Sparta, Kentucky, we present the second running of the Craftsman Truck Series Kroger 225. At the halfway point of the season with 12 of 24 events completed, Scott Briggs has reassumed the points lead over Joe Rutman. Just 106 points separate the top 5, with last week's winner Ricky Hendrick firmly entrenched in 5th place. Glad to have you with us. I'm Jerry Punch, along with Winston Cup and Busch Series veteran Phil Parsons here in the booth. You've already heard from Ray and Amy down in the pits. And now tonight's Mopar starting grid features an all-Hendrick front row with 2-time champ Jack Sprague notching his 4th pole of the year. Points leader Riggs starts 3rd, and last week's 4th place finisher 19-year-old John Wood starts back in 6th.
We've got Travis Quaffle starting in the 18th position, coming off 8 top 10 finishes already this year. 19th and 20th, Brian Sockwell, Brian Rose, their best career starts. 21st, Billy Bigley coming off a career best 5th last week at Kansas. And then 30th, Doug Keller making his first career Craftsman Truck Series start.
And our final 6 starters, Sammy Sanders, likewise making his very first NASCAR Craftsman Truck start back in 34th position. Now, let's get up close and personal with the 5 drivers who will carry our onboard cameras in tonight's Kroger 225.
Hi, I'm Travis Quaffle. You're riding along with me in the number 60 Cat Rental Store Chevy Silverado.
Hi, I'm Jim Englebright. You're riding along with me in the 02 Jelly Belly Chevrolet, so enjoy the ride.
Hi, I'm Joe Rutman, driver of the Dana Dodge. Number 18, I'd suggest the helmet.
You're riding with me, Scott Riggs, in the number 2 Team ASC CarQuest Dodge.
Hi, I'm Ricky Hendrick, driver of the number 17 GMAC Chevrolet, and come ride along with me.
And there they are following the pace truck with Mike Dolan aboard. How about some NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series news? Our points leader, Riggs, quick to the Busch Series, making a move.
He sure is. He's going in the defending champion car of Jeff Green next year. It's a great move for Scott Riggs, but he might win one championship first this year.
Chuck Hosfeld has been released from his contract at Roush. Probably go back and run some NASCAR modified. Hopefully he'll come back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Crawford's truck, a horse of a different color.
It sure is. They're having an anniversary there. Sawzall's the 50th anniversary for one of their products. Great looking color scheme. I'm sure we'll see a lot of that tonight.
And happy anniversary to Team ASE, their 150th start for the fine folks at National Institute of Automotive Service Excellence. 150 races with Ultra Motorsports and Jimmy Smith, their anniversary here tonight. Of course, it couldn't be a better place to be on the side of the current points leader's truck, Scott Riggs. Let's check in the pits about some late engine changes. Amy?
Well, I'd already told you about Ricky Hendrick, but some other crews were equally as busy with approved engine changes. The 50 of John Wood, the 63 of Larry Gunzelman, and also the 2 of Scott Riggs. So a couple of our front runners will have some fresh horsepower under the hood to start off this Kentucky race.
There's a look at the team. Lance McGrew getting his very first win as a crew chief last week at Kansas. What an emotional day it was last Saturday for NASCAR. A son of Rick Hendrick gets a win. How about Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s big win at Daytona that night? An emotional day in NASCAR racing. And what a crowd here at Kentucky Speedway. A gorgeous facility just 30 miles south of Cincinnati, 60 miles north of Louisville. Glad to have you with us for NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action as we are set for the green flag. Lanes wide, the back straightaway here. Lots of racing room in Kentucky.
Side-by-side action. That's Coy Gibbs, the 20 truck right there, and that's John Wood in the 50 truck, right following Ted Musgrave in the 1.
And a spin. Looks like the 89 truck has looped it around here on the early laps. That is Stan Boyd.
No caution as of yet. See if Stan can get it refired and get out of the way.
A little bit of challenge here for second spot. Joe Ruttman makes a move inside the 2 truck. Here comes the 1 of Musgrave inside his teammate Riggs. And the caution will indeed be waived by Dion Henske for the first time tonight, coming out here on the second lap of the evening. Once again, the spin a moment ago by Stan Boyd in the 89 truck, the Bars Leaks machine.
Ricky Hendrick back in the 5th position, started on the outside pole, did not get a very good start, did not come up to speed, but several guys got by him. He's all the way back in the 5th. You see Stan Boyd right there. That's the access road on the inside in the green truck. That's him. He got going, but it was after NASCAR had already had to put out the caution flag.
So none the worse for wear. Looped it around, and we'll show you just what happened a moment ago here on the very first lap to bring out the yellow.
You see, he just got loose, getting in the corner there. He chased it and chased it, chased it. And I know how that feels, Doc, and kind of ran out of racetrack there and got sideways, got looped around. No damage, no contact with the outside wall, no contact with any other truck. So he'll get back going and be in good shape.
Now, you qualified 5th and ran competitively in the Busch race here last month. This is a very, very good racetrack.
It sure is. That was exactly what happened to me. I got a little bit loose getting in turn 3 and finally ran out of racetrack.
All right, working caution for the first time this evening here at the gorgeous Kentucky Speedway. Great crowd on hand enjoying NASCAR Craftsman truck action. Back at Kentucky Speedway, green flag waves, 4 wide to turn 1, and they narrow it down, Phil. I'm just scrunching up here. It's a pretty wide racetrack, but the groove isn't that wide.
It sure is. And Jack Sprague really brought it down a little bit slow and had everyone bunched up. By the time they threw the green flag, they were already 3 and 4 wide.
Sprague the leader. Joe Ruttman in second spot. Behind him, Musgrave making a challenge. Here's a battle side by side. That's Ricky Hendrick in the 17 on the outside. Riggs, the points leader. Team ASE, CarQuest Dodge.
We thought we would see some side-by-side racing, but I wasn't sure it would be this early.
Here is Musgrave taking the second spot away. Remember, Sprague and Ruttman finished 23rd and 24th, respectively, last week at Kansas Speedway. Sprague lost an engine. Ruttman had alternator problems, and now he's being shown back in 3rd spot after starting 5th.
Okay, that 1 truck right there in front of him, Ted Musgrave, he was awfully good in half-hour practice.
Ted Musgrave came here to test the Winston Cup car, the Dodge. He will drive at the Brickyard. They tested it back in the early spring. In fact, it was so cold that it was snow on the ground when they tested it here for Ultra Motorsports and Jimmy Smith. So he's been on this racetrack, just never raced here.
He sure got a run on Jack Sprague coming off of turn 4 there. He's got a great engine in that number 1 Dodge. See him peeking out to the inside. They're trying to beat Jack down in the corner. He's able to do it. Pass for the lead.
Coming down for lap 7. Changed the lead for the first time today. Sprague, the pole sitter, was the leader. Now Musgrave takes the lead. Tough break in the pits early is Lance Hooper. Joey Sontag on machine. They go beneath the hood there. We'll update that momentarily as you watch the battle. Starting to narrow down for second position.
You know, we talk a lot of times about guys trying to work under people, try to get a little momentum coming off the turn. That looked like it was all motor, how Ted Musgrave passed Jack Sprague. Now Ted's opened up about a 3 or 4 truck length lead over Jack Sprague in second, and there's Joe Ruttman following in third.
Dana Dodge to Joe Ruttman. There's Coy Gibbs in the MB&A Chevrolet. Youngest son of 3-time Super Bowl winner Joe Gibbs, who's here tonight watching his son compete. It's Coy Gibbs' favorite truck. It's the one he finished 5th with twice this year.
Look at the sun right there, Doc. The sun is really a problem this early in the race. Obviously, as the sun goes down, it becomes less of a problem and no problem. But right now, it really is a problem coming off turn 4. We talked about how good Jed Musgrave was in Happy Hour. Scott Riggs in the 2 truck we were just looking at off his onboard was the fastest truck in Happy Hour practice. He actually ran a lap in Happy Hour that was faster than the pole position.
And you got to wonder what's going on with Scott right now. Of course, the temperature's been pretty consistent all weekend. It's been gorgeous here, mid-70s, a little bit of a breeze. Whoa! And wait for Ricky Hendrick loops around, and you saw Coy Gibbs trying to stop, and Riggs stayed out of the back of Gibbs, and Hendrick still slipping, and now
trucks going everywhere.
Half a dozen trucks slipping and sliding here on the tri-oval area. Hendrick has come to rest in the grass. There's damage in the 99 truck for Nathan Hosley. He tries to get going. Lance Norrick has gone through the grass.
We're looking at Ricky Hendrick now getting going. I'm not sure Ricky had any contact with anybody. He may have come out unscathed from this. Chris Horn, tough break for him. Good qualifying effort. You see Nathan Hosley there on the inside there. That's the little exhaust heat is actually caught the grass on fire. He needs to spin that engine over a little bit, and that'll suck that flame up into the exhaust.
Now safety crews are very quick here. Trying to get
tailpipe fire. Just a tailpipe fire.
Yeah, you hear a spotter telling us just a tailpipe fire, nothing to worry about.
I don't want to get out of the thing. Don't get out of it. We got to get it going. Tell them to push you.
Nathan Hosley coming off a 10th place finish last week at Kansas City, his 4th top 10 of the year.
The button's fine, Lumpy. It won't start.
Here telling his crew chief that here he just got it started.
Got a little singe on the left side of the Eldon truck. And
there's Chris Horn. Great to see him out of the truck. He had quite a bit of damage.
I'll show you what happened here on lap number 10 up in turn 4.
You see Ricky Hendrick, he just gets a little bit loose coming off turn 4. The back end goes around there. You see, we saw Scott Riggs running the back of Coy Gibbs. And around he goes. Again, I don't think there was any contact here, but in all the smoke, you see all the smoke that the truck's making. Trucks start stopping, trying to slow down, and you see a lot of contact back behind them. Great job by Matt Crafton getting by on the inside. Also Rick Crawford.
A little different angle. Watch the contact here, or is there a contact? You see Ricky spinning. Watch the 2 and the 20.
Yeah, if there wasn't contact, they came awfully close there. But you see all the smoke, and when the drivers come off turn 4, they get in that smoke and they can't see.
As a driver, what do you do when you're driving into a cloud? I mean, do you just keep it straight and hold on, or
you keep it straight and rely on your spotter to tell you which way to go? That's why the spotters become invaluable. But a lot of times, you know, someone will hit the brakes, check up, and the guy in front behind him runs into him, and then gets somebody turning around, and then the racetrack gets blocked, and then that's where you see all the guys trying to take evasive action going through the infield.
Well, a number of trucks on pit road here during the second caution flag. There is Ricky Hendrick coming in. Travis Quapple's in. Let's check in down in the Hendrick pit.
Well, Ricky radioed to the crew, and he said it was just extremely loose in the center. So they're going to give him 4 tires already NASCAR approved because of the spin. They're going to go down 3 rounds on the track bar, put a spring rubber in the right rear. So they are going to severely try to tighten up this truck for Ricky Hendrick as he now gets the left side tires as well. Great done lap.
Well, Amy, it's going to be right side tires for the number 99, and they were real worried about the fact that that fire on the left side may have got that left rear tire too hot, so they're going to do 4 tires here on this pit stop. Nathan said, let's not take any chance with that, and the crew chief said the same thing here, but I believe they had too many men over the wall, and that is why they're being held here on pit road. I'll get back to you on that one.
To the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series official, they're holding him, and that would have been a 15-second penalty for too many over the wall, apparently. So now Nathan Hosley and the Eldon Ford is down and away. Well, we are working the second caution flag today, coming out on lap number 10. Last week's winner, Ricky Hendrick. Jubilation a week ago, right along with Ricky. Let's see what he saw as his GMAC Chevy Silverado headed into turn 3. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, and then suddenly this loose truck, well, gets even looser as he loops it around, and traffic goes by. Ricky misses everything, dodges the bullets. Back to the green in just a moment. Our coverage of exciting NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action from Kentucky Speedway is being brought to you by Mopar. Parts for Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep vehicles from the dealerships that sell and install them. That's the Mopar difference. By Quikrete Concrete Products. No one makes it easier than Quikrete. And by Pure Later. Pure oil now, pure oil later. Let's check in back in the pits quickly in the Riggs pits with Ray.
Well, Jerry, Scott has been on the radio saying he thinks they may have too much rear gear. He's hitting the rev chip about 10 truck lengths before he gets to the corner, and he said with that rear end gear that they chose this weekend, it's going to be awfully tough to beat the 1, the 24, or the 17.
Getting set for the restart. You got to wonder how much of a difference that would make today versus happy hour when he was so quick.
It shouldn't have made much difference because the happy hour yesterday was about the same time it is right now.
Restart here on lap 16. Caution out for 4 laps.
You see him 4 wide again. Willie P. Ribs on the inside of the 8 truck. Fortunately, they scaled back down to 2 wide.
Yeah. Folks, if you've not seen this racetrack before, it is a gorgeous facility. 1.5 mile, D-shaped oval, very wide, 70 feet wide, 5 lanes, so plenty of racing room to go 3 wide, 4 wide, or heaven forbid, 5 wide. We can see it tonight. But gorgeous facility, banked at 15 degrees over in the turns, 8 degrees on the straightaway, and the front straightaway and back straightaway about 1,600 feet around. So just a fabulous racing facility.
It certainly is. And you know, I talked to a lot of the guys that ran here last year in the truck race, and they said the thing last year was ultra smooth. But the winter was a little bit tough on this racetrack. The thing has a lot of bumps in it. They tried to grind the racetrack. You see right there, you see the difference in the shading. They tried to grind the racetrack through turn 2 and off turn 2 to make it smoother.
Andy Vertrees, the director of operations here, told me just a little while ago they have the grinders standing by, and tomorrow morning they're going to go out here and grind into turn 3. It's a little bit of a dip in turn 3. They even try to get a little even more smooth than it was. There's just a couple of dips that they've worked on this place constantly.
They sure do.
Great side-by-side action. There's Rick Crawford with the new colors, the anniversary, 50th anniversary for Sawzall. Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford for Rick Crawford. Same truck he qualified second with at Dover early in the year. And he is due for a good finish. They have worked so hard with this team and had some pretty tough luck the last few weeks, particularly at Milwaukee.
That's right. He sure had this truck was awfully good at Dover. He really had a good chance to win that race. Had a little pit miscue, and that took him out of contention.
Rick hasn't had a top 5 finish since Darlington in May, and would love to be able to change that here if you ride along with the Jelly Bellies onboard camera for Jim Englebright. Jim looking to come full-time possibly next year with the Jelly Belly Candy Company as a sponsor in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
You can see it right there. There's actually, we have all these trucks have tear-offs on the windshield. So after they get some oil, grease, and grime on them, they can actually peel off a layer of windshield. You see his right there. It's already coming up, so it can be a little disconcerting. But fortunately, it's moving away from him towards the center of the truck. You really only look out of the left side of the windshield on these kind of racetracks.
Jim making his 5th start of the year, coming off his best NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series finish, 14th at Milwaukee. Of course, he won a NASCAR Southwest Series race at Sears Point the weekend before, so he's had a couple of pretty good weeks in both Southwest Series and trucks.
We see him following Brian Rose right there. Again, what you mentioned earlier, this was his best career start, doing a great job in that truck.
There's the 17 truck coming through the field, and after that spin on lap 10, that's Henry. How about the 60 of Travis Quaffle? As you take a look at the rookie points to see where they're running, Quaffle back in 17th spot. Actually second overall in rookie points, 15 points behind Ricky Hendrick, who's running 19th. And now Ricky trying to make a move as
Travis showing a lot of patience there. He's trying to get by Ryan McGlynn on the 00 truck, but showing a lot of patience. Early in the race, he has to show a lot of patience, and he's doing a great job.
Pretty important race for Travis Quaffle. Mike Addington, who owns his race team, he's right along with Ricky Hendrick, and look up ahead at Travis. Mike Addington is from Ashland, Kentucky, and his dad Larry is in attendance tonight. They own, of course, Addington Resources, the coal mining industries. They are major sponsors and involved with, of course, owning the 60 truck and the Cat rental team. Would love to see Travis get his first win here at Kentucky Speedway.
Travis is trying to get a little momentum. Look at, you see Terry Cook on the outside there. He's up in the loose stuff.
A little bit of contact between Cook and Ricky Hendrick. Cook gathers it back in, bobbles a little bit in turn 3.
It looked like Terry Cook drove up on the outside of Ricky Hendrick and maybe got Ricky a little bit loose, and that's why Ricky actually went up into Terry.
And there's some damage on the nose on the left front of the 29. The Power Stroke Diesel Ford for Terry Cook. This place wasn't very kind to Terry a year ago. He had a good qualifying run last year, started 10th, but ended up finishing 35th. Had an incident early on, of course he was driving for Duke Thorson back then, but his second race of 6 with Power Stroke Diesel on board as a sponsor. You can see a little bit of damage in the left front. Moving in on lap 25 of 150, which make up the Kroger 225 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action from Kentucky Speedway. New Hampshire International Speedway is gearing up for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. The mile track has seen some great battles throughout its 5-year history with the trucks, but it's the rookies who have found success here. Andy Houston battled Greg Biffle and celebrated his first Craftsman Truck Series victory in 1998. Then last year, Kurt Busch scored his second of 4 wins on the season. The question is, can a rookie win again? We'll find out next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern Time for the New England 200 up at Bob and Gary Bear's Great Place, New Hampshire International Speedway. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action exclusively on the worldwide leader ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com. There's the leader, Ted Musgrave, in the Mopar Dodge. Same Dodge he won with at Milwaukee a couple of weeks ago. Winningest driver this year in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series competition. 4 wins, 3 in the first 5 starts of the year. Homestead, Mesa Marin, which is Bakersfield, and Gateway in St. Louis.
See Jack Sprague right on Ted Musgrave's bumper. Ted had opened up a little bit of a lead, got into a little bit of traffic, and got slowed down, allowed Jack Sprague to catch right up.
Might mention the rules this week. They did not have the 390 carburetors on board. They've gone back to the 830 carburetors. No cold air box and no cold air induction. And they've increased the spoilers here. Wayne Alton and the guys trying to make sure this race is safe, considering the speeds are some 6 miles an hour faster than Kansas Speedway last week. Up the spoilers to 8 inches and the minimum angle to 65 degrees.
Yeah, Doc, and they're also going to do that on all the racetracks over a mile. They talked about doing that to an 8-inch tall spoiler, 65-degree minimum angle.
390 carburetor, by the way, coming back in California and Texas, if not before. They're still contemplating some rules changes here to be able to increase the engine life and try to cut down on some of the engine cost. How about an update from the Sprague pits with Ray Dunlap?
Well, Jerry, we've seen a number of circumstances where Jack Sprague has had problems this year with engines, and tonight they have a small problem already. There is no oil pressure gauge on his dash. He said it just completely went to 0, but that was right at the start of the race, so they don't think it's an engine problem yet. But if there is an oil temperature problem later tonight, they're not going to know about it.
Well, drivers don't look at those kind of gauges anyway, Ray, so it really doesn't much matter.
How much do you look? How much can you afford to look at a gauge?
Well, you have time. Like right now, Jack Sprague has plenty of time. He's got a pretty long straightaway there. He's following Ted Musgrave. He has time, but I think you would look at the water temperature. He would look at the water temperature some. That would be the only gauge that I would actually look at, was the water temperature, because you have to keep an eye on that, because you kind of guess somewhat and how much tape to put in the front end, which controls how much air you take through the radiator. You get a good feel for it in happy hour, but sometimes you get cut short of happy hour and the temperature will change the next day. So that's the only gauge really I ever keep an eye on.
I asked Jack Sprague, I said, what is left to happen to you? You've led the most laps in the last 4 consecutive races and not one. He said, I'm watching the sky for a meteor shower. I mean, anything. This poor guy just has had rotten luck.
Battle for third right there. Coy Gibbs on the inside, passing Joe Ruttman. This is, as you mentioned, this is his favorite truck, and he's doing a great job with it right now. Passes Joe Ruttman for the 3rd position.
Finished 5th in this truck. Talking about the MB&A Chevrolet now for Coy. Finished 5th at Dover, 5th at Memphis. Got a 7th place finish here.
They pick up a big push behind you. Just concentrate on your line.
Listening to Curtis Markham, a great driver in his own right, who's a driver, coach, and spotter for Coy Gibbs.
Last week, they had an untimely pit stop. Actually had a pit stop, and then the caution came out for Coy Gibbs. Put him a lap down, ended up finishing in 10th spot. So he had his 5th top 10 finish of the year. Finished 9th, I should say, last week. Had his 5th top 10 finish of the year, but moved him back into the top 10 in the points. So he comes into this race tonight 10th in the points. I'll tell you, the folks at MB&A, I'm told, have been very impressed with the effort of this team, Gary Showalter and this team this year for Coy Gibbs.
They put out a tremendous effort. They test all the time. They'll go to, the Truck Series is not allowed to test, but they'll go to Lakeland, Florida to test, or Greenville, South Carolina, or Asheboro, North Carolina. There are some of the racetracks that other racetracks that the Craftsman Truck Series doesn't run on. So they really do a great job. They really work at it, and now the dividends are paying off.
There have been 6 rookies who have won in the history of NASCAR Craftsman truck competition. Of course, Gibbs is not a rookie, but really getting his first full season this year and in the series, driving for his dad. Last week, a winner. Ricky Hendrick, the 6th different rookie to win. Travis Quapple also looking to win. Everyone said it would be Travis or Ricky. Ricky or Travis. Each week they were saying one of these guys is going to win. Who's going to be the first one to win? And it could have been either one last week.
We had 5 rookies in the top 5 finishers last week at Kansas.
Well, it should not be surprising that Coy Gibbs, son of 3-time Super Bowl champion Joe Gibbs, credits a total team effort for his recent improvement on the racetrack. He's the subject of this week's One to Watch.
A lot of it has to do with just Gary Showalter. We're getting the history together. We're working together, getting a lot of things ironed out. And then the motor program, just coming around and doing in-house motors, I just think that helped a lot. We have total control over everything right now. The bodies, the chassis, the motors. So I just think it gives me more confidence when we go to the track.
Former linebacker at Stanford University, played all 4 years there, was a Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Week. I think he's a sophomore out there with a big game. Great athlete, doing a pretty good job here in his first full year in NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series. There's his one. You see he's 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s. Best finished 5th twice at Dover and Memphis. Finished 19th here at Kentucky last year. How about a proud papa? There is Joe Gibbs watching his son race and having a great effort here as he currently sits 3rd at Kentucky Speedway. NASCAR action, Craftsman Truck Series style, exclusively on the Worldwide Leader here at ESPN. Glad to have you with us. There's a great battle. Randy Tolsma, his best qualifying effort since Texas, starting 9th in the Ambusher Chevrolet.
He's about to get ambushed by Jim Engelbright in the Jelly Belly truck.
That is 9th and 10th. That's Tolsma in the Team Renzi, owned by Ed and Sam Renzi. And then there's Engelbright. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, makes the move inside of Tolsma.
Randy drove it down in the corner, but whoa. Great save by Jim Engelbright right there. Had a little contact coming up turn 4, looked like, but Randy was able to save the truck.
Engelbright's 5th start of the year, finished 15th at Mason Moran.
Back in the rhythm, we'll go get him.
29th at Gateway, 26th at Pikes Peak, and 14th at Milwaukee.
Yeah, it was. It looked pretty cool. He did a great job.
Show you what happened. Here it comes side by side off turn 4. Almost no contact. Jim thought he was going to get up into Randy, so he just turned the thing left, but that caught it. Only lost one position. Great save.
That save probably kept both trucks from going sideways.
He actually did not even lose that position. The 51 truck backed off to let him get straightened out, and away he went. You notice he's got a yellow visor on his helmet there. That actually will brighten things up. He doesn't need it right now, but when it gets nighttime, then that thing will actually brighten up. And even though the lights are so good here at Kentucky Speedway, that'll brighten things up even a little bit more.
Jim hoping to come full-time next year. Talking to Herman Rowland and company out at the Jelly Belly Candy Company in Fairfield, California. You know what Herman's title is? Chairman of the Bean. I'm talking him into coming full-time in NASCAR Craftsman truck next year and possibly will. There is Tolsma moving on up, so a good run for Randy Tolsma as well here as he moves up toward the top 10. Still in the early laps of Kentucky Speedway in the Kroger 225. Cleveland winner Dario Franchitti returns to the streets of Toronto where he won in '99. 6 of his 7 career wins have come on street circuits. Michael Andretti looks for win number 1 this season and his 7th career Toronto victory. ESPN and ESPN2 brings you exciting open wheel action tomorrow. Park today on ESPN2 at 11 o'clock. And tune into ESPN for the start of the Molson Indy from Toronto, a 1.7-mile street course at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. For more, log on to ESPN.com. We're under caution here at Kentucky Speedway for the 3rd time today, coming out here on lap 50. We're told some possible debris on the racetrack, so we've had a couple of damaged trucks involved in an incident and went back on lap 10, and there was some sheet metal flapping. As we get set, the leaders will come down pit road. Let's check in with Amy in the Coy Gibbs pit.
Well, Coy started 7th and is currently running 3rd, and we heard about him in our One to Watch segment that he feels as though it's nice their team is now in control of everything. Well, one thing they're not in control of is the radio interference that he's had. It's been tough for him to communicate with the team, but they did finally get out of him that the truck is tight, so they've made an air pressure adjustment in the right rear tire. He'll get right size and fuel, and that's the only chassis adjustment that they're going to give to him, being a Chevrolet. Ray Dunlap.
Waiting on the Dodge for Ted Musgrave. They put 1 round in the right rear, right side tires. Musgrave makes it out, but Sprague is going to get out a little bit quicker, even though they put 2 rounds in and also did right side tires for the number 24. Scott Riggs is in right now in the number 2 truck. He also had an air pressure adjustment there on the right side tires.
Great pit stop times there, 11.1 seconds. All 3 very good pit stops, 11.1 seconds for Dennis Conner and company for the Net Zero teams. You look at the points leader, Scott Riggs, headed back on the racetrack. Again, we are working caution for the 3rd time today, coming out on lap 50 for debris on the racetrack. Still 100 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway. We'll be right back. As the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series enters the second half of the 2001 season, the top drivers have experienced both highs and lows, creating the tightest points battle in NASCAR. Learning from the best has been the key for 5th-place pointsman Ricky Hendrick. He has finished in the top 10 every race except when he was bidden at the track too tough to tame. Showing veteran patience, this rookie finally broke through with a win last week in Kansas City. 4th in points is Ted Musgrave, who has found the key to victory lane 4 times this season. Inconsistencies, though, have kept the Mopar team from totally dominating. Rear-end gear trouble at Martinsville and a loose window net at Darlington are just some of the problems that this team has had to overcome. Heartbreaks have been the story of 3rd-place driver Jack Sprague. Races that Sprague has dominated have slipped through his fingers, making it difficult to stay in the hunt. One shining moment, however, was his win at Texas, giving Chevy its 1st of the year. Daytona winner Joe Ruttman is keeping the pressure on for the points lead. With consistent finishes and a win at Pikes Peak, Ruttman looked like he could move to the top spot. But last week at Kansas, he was struck with his 1st DNF of the season. Finally, points leader Scott Riggs started the season in dominant fashion with a record 8 straight top 5 finishes and his 1st career win at Martinsville. Then reality set in. Hard contact at Texas, then a broken part at Milwaukee. But through it all, the number 2 has been looking like number 1 all season. And speaking of number 1, how about the number 17, last week's first place finisher? What a difference a week makes. He wins at Kansas Speedway, and now Ricky Hendrick being shown a lap down back in 16th position. As we are set for the restart, his teammate, though, Jack Sprague, will lead him down.
You saw Travis Quapple actually in front of Ricky Hendrick. He's also a lap down, so two tough competitors already a lap down this early.
And 4 rookies finished the top 6 last week, 5 in the top 10. And this week, our 2 top rookie contenders, as far as the points are concerned, both a lap down.
See Randy Tolzman, the white truck on the outside. They're 3 wide coming off turn 2.
Just on the high side of Willie Ribbs. Willie coming off his second best finish of the year, 15th at Kansas Speedway. And there's contact, and the Dodge of Ribbs goes around. Tolzman goes around.
Stop.
And caution out for the 4th time. Looks like Tolzman didn't hit anything.
I'm not sure there was any contact with Willie T also. So both of these guys, no, unfortunately, no. Willie looks like front and rear contact, unfortunately.
Double O got in the back of it. Now just get it back on the track. Easy, Willie, easy. Hey, come on now. Okay. Go back around and catch up to the pace truck. Check your oil pressure. Make sure you don't have a busted oil line.
See, normally that would be the thing to do is drive around. We're going to look and see what happens here. You watch the 00 here. He's on the inside of Randy Tolzma. He gets into the back of Willie T right there, taps him. Around he goes. They catch into the side of Randy Tolzman, the 61. Around he goes. So Willie's got it out of the wall so far. And, on for the thing. Turns around, kicks back to the right, and gets into the outside wall.
Well, Willie almost saved it. I believe McGlynn in the 00 gets both the 8 and the 61. Watch him in the back of the 8. Does his right front fender get the rear of Tolzma?
I think he actually did. I think it was Ryan's truck that got into Randy Tolzma, not Willie T's, but tough break. This is the last thing I saw Willie T. I thought he was going to be able to keep it on the wall, but the wheels were turned to the right. The thing grabbed a hold, and into the outside wall he went.
So now Willie T, heavy damage on the front of that truck, owned by Bobby Hamilton Jr. He owns the 2 trucks of Tolzma. And here's the Ambusher Chevrolet of Tolzma down pit road, Amy.
Well, this Renzi crew is very disheartened, although from the beginning of this race, Randy had been talking about the restarts had been tough. He had some transmission trouble, and that is what they were most concerned about on the restart. They weren't expecting to have the contact that we just saw, but he does indeed have some right front fender damage. They're going to give him 4 tires. Again, this is NASCAR approved because in the truck series, under yellow, you can usually take 2. Oh, it seems as though now he's got some right rear damage as well. So the right side heavily damaged on the 61 Ambusher, as he will get the 4 fresh Goodyears.
You folks wonder what Ambusher is. The Ambusher is a skid steer attachment that's designed to fit all brands of skid steer loaders. You loggers that understand what skids are, that's what Ambusher is on board the Randy Tolzma truck here. And there's the Dodge Mopar team, the Bobby Hamilton Racing team, taking a look at Willie T. Ribbs. We'll update the damages there. Hoping to get Willie back after that good run last week at Kansas where he finished 15th. His second best finish of the year. His best came earlier in the year, 13th at Pikes Peak. Well, the Tolzma crew hoping to get their driver back toward the top 10. Back with the green flag in a moment. Back at Kentucky Speedway, I'm Jerry Punch along with Phil Parsons, Amy East, and Ray Dunlap. Glad to have you with us. 93 laps to go. We are at lap 58. Take a look at the leaders there. They're chasing Jack Sprague. John Wood still showing it in the top 10 at the great top 5 finish last week. Matt Crafton. How about Billy Bigley all the way from 21st starting spot? That's a team that has really come on here in the last 3 races. Now, each team on pit road has talented men and women working behind the scenes. This week's Craftsman Pit Profile tells the story of 2 weekend warriors who donate their time to be at every race.
Well, 2 members from the 2 team volunteer their time every week in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And Doug Schaub, you're a flight attendant, but yet on your free time, you decide to travel to the truck races. Why?
Well, I started working on dirt cars when I was about 13 years old, and after high school, I became a flight attendant. And I had to take a break for about 10 years, and met Timmy's wife, our crew chief, on a flight, and she asked me to come to a race. Came to the race in Nashville, and I've been coming to the rest of them. It's a great organization. It's been a good opportunity, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
And both Doug and Terry Suntimer have not missed a race so far this year. You were the 1999 ASE Master Mechanic of the Year, so you're obviously valuable to the Ultra Bad Boys. But how exciting is it to be a part of the Truck Series?
Oh, it's been just an amazing experience to work with the Bad Boys at 43 years of age. It's particularly exciting this weekend as it's 150 races for ASE as primary sponsor, which I think is the lengthiest in the series. Coming out here and working with these guys every week has just been a blast. I mean, I can't describe how much fun this is for me.
Well, it's really unique to find volunteers in the garage area, and they've both become key members of the Ultra Bad Boys.
Indeed, Amy, Doug and Terry, both very valuable members for this team here and play a very important part on race day. You know what Doug does during the pit stops as a flight attendant? When that truck stops, he flies over the wall and hands the driver a little bag of peanuts. That's a great job. Now, we're just joking, folks, but very valuable people, a part of this CarQuest Team ASE team. Glad to have Doug and Terry coming here each and every week for NASCAR Craftsman truck action. We are working the fourth caution flag today. Contact by Willie T. Ribbs and Ryan McGlynn with a spin by Randy Tolsman. Let's check in now in the pits with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, it is true that the crew members are very important at every racetrack. You talked about how great this facility is here at Kentucky. The racetrack is great. The garage area is great. The grandstands are great. But as the crew members get ready to go over the wall, there is one thing I think they did not so well. Look how wide this wall is. If I'm standing here getting ready and I'm a little bit nervous and I'm hopping back and forth, I might just end up right down like this. And if you're a crew member, you don't want that to happen.
Absolutely not. Wouldn't be good for a pit announcer either.
So, some of those guys might want to run over Ray Dunlap if he laid on pit road.
Absolutely. Let's check in down with Amy. Amy.
Well, Dennis Setzer, one of our winners so far this year, has had Danny Gill come on in the last 8 races. He's got a win, a pole, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s. They seem to be making good decisions a lot here lately. And the latest decision that Danny Gill had made, well, at lap 50, Dennis came down and got right side tires. And just a couple of laps ago, on lap 55, they came down and gave Dennis left side tires. So he has got 4 of the freshest Goodyear tires underneath that Axiom Chevrolet.
That's right, Amy. You know, and since Danny Gill came on board for Dennis Setzer and Morgan Dollar Motorsports, they have not finished outside of the top 14. They've gone from 22nd in points to 9th. Very talented crew chief there in the pits for Morgan Dollar Motorsports and Dennis Setzer.
At the first star of the race.
Under caution here at Kentucky Speedway. Back with the green flag and Mark Craftsman Truck Series action in just a moment. Thursday night, the fine folks from Craftsman and Northern Kentucky University put on a softball game, pitting the Truck Series drivers against our very own ESPN TV crew. While some players displayed skills off the track, others should keep their day job. With a strong lineup, the drivers jumped out to an early lead, but some bad calls by the umpires and stellar ESPN hitting brought the game down to a climatic 7th inning tie. In the bottom of the 7th, Jack Sprague would belt home the winning run, giving Coach Joe Rubman and his team their first career softball victory. But the worldwide leader wants a rematch. And there is the softball challenge trophy prominently displayed in Coach Joe Rubman's pits, but we do want a rematch because I think we let everybody play, and there were some adjustments on their lineup as well as some creative signal calling from the umpires. We won't mention who that was, but their initials are Wayne Otten.
Exactly right.
NASCAR officials there are part of that. What a great night for this series and for the drivers and for us and the fans that came out. We're able to get all those drivers autographs, bringing their families out to be a part of that special evening.
It was an awful lot of fun here. There's Danny Rollins. That's the coach, Joe Rutman's crew chief right there. You see him wearing a hat. If you watched last week, Ray did a little report about the fact that every race they had won, he had not worn a hat. You know, it was 104 degrees at Kansas last week, and so we were talking about how he might get his head sunburned because he's a little bit follically challenged. Danny Rollins told me yesterday that he is going to kill Ray Dunlap because when he got home, his wife said, "Let me show you something. I want to show you something." So she taped the race and she ran it back and showed him that little piece, and he told me he is gunning for Ray Dunlap.
Well, indeed, and what a gorgeous sunset here in Sparta, Kentucky. Probably one of, if not the nicest racetracks I have ever seen. I mean, they did a wonderful job here building this racetrack. Kudos to Jerry Carroll, the one of 5 owners, and Mark Karras, the general manager, Andy Vertrees. Great crowd on hand here at this 1.5-mile track, 30 miles south of Cincinnati, 60 miles north of Louisville. And the folks came pouring in here. They sold standing room here last month at the NASCAR Busch Series. Been over 70,000 in attendance. And this purse tonight, just a few $1,000s shy of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series purse at Daytona. Second biggest purse of the year, over $700,000.
That's great. This is a great facility, as you mentioned. Not a bad seat in this house.
Now, we told you at the beginning of the show about some of the veterans that are here, as well as the future stars. Take a look. We compare the veterans, Ruttman, Sprague, Musgrave, and Setzer, and the future stars, Rigg, Hendrick, Quapple, and Wood. And you get to see where these guys, their average finish, pretty doggone close, pretty even all the way up. The veterans have the edge in poles and wins. But we got veterans running 1, 2, 3 here of what is a very competitive racetrack. There's Joe Ruttman, the Dana Dodge driver. Let's check in his pits. Amy?
Well, we were talking about crew chief Danny Rollins, and aside from the hat issue, and by the way, I'm the one that's down here and not Ray, and now we know why, it's just because he makes some great calls on pit lane, and the one that he made on lap 50 was to give Joe left side tires when the rest of the field took right, so he may have some fresher rights at the end of this race.
Thank you, Amy. Set for the restart. Now, you saw Sprague pull away on the inside, one lap down to his teammate, Ricky Hendrick. Got to wonder if Ricky's going to get a chance to get his lap back. But he didn't take off real well, and Sprague and Musgrave have pulled away.
Now, Joe Ruttman in the 18 truck going by on the outside of Ricky Hendrick, he was not very good, as we mentioned, on the start of the initial start of the race, and he hasn't been very good on this restart. Maybe a transmission situation.
Ricky Hendrick being shown in 15th spot, a lap down lead change. Musgrave goes down beneath the 24 of Sprague to take the lead. Sprague back in second. Now he gets a challenge from Joe Ruttman, and Coy Gibbs getting a little racy back there in fourth spot.
We're going on the outside of Joe Ruttman, going down in turn number 1. A lot of speedy drive from that earlier accident with Willie T. Ricks. He was able to make the pass, beat him down in the turn number 1 on the outside.
And Coy just motors by that Mark Cronquist engine out of Joe Gibbs Racing, just showing the muscle here at Kentucky Speedway.
Here we see Coy Gibbs in the 20 truck leading Joe Ruttman. You see the drivers, they usually go right down to the white line at the start-finish line, but there's so much speedy drive down there, they're actually staying up a little bit so as to not get in that speedy drive.
There's Ruttman trying to move inside of Gibbs to retake third position. One of the young drivers.
Coy slid up a little bit in the center of the corner there to allow Joe to get underneath him. It looks like maybe his truck was pushing a little bit in the center of the turn.
Veteran on the inside, young man on the outside. Ruttman and Gibbs.
You hear Joe Ruttman pedaling a little bit on the inside. He doesn't want to slide up into Coy Gibbs. He had to pedal a little bit coming off turn 4. Side by side all the way down the straightaway into turn number 1.
Now, while these two guys run side by side, it allows the first two trucks to pull away a little bit. Musgrave has pulled away to about a 1.5 second advantage. There's Musgrave going by, then Sprague. Down the side-by-side battle for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
See Scott Riggs right there. He's looking at these guys, want to know which one's going to go so I can follow him. Coy's hanging tough there on the outside. It's great to see a racetrack that you can see side-by-side racing.
Outstanding facility here. Can't wait for the Winston Cup guys to come here. They're going to love this place. Very wide. Watch the action. Ruttman trying to hug the inside. His truck almost got a little loose.
Looks like he got a little bit loose there and slid up into almost into Coy Gibbs. Fortunately, was able to keep his truck out of Coy Gibbs' truck.
Reckon Joe Gibbs has any fingernails left?
That's true. Here's Ricky Hendrick. He's been able to get by Scott Riggs, the 17 truck. Actually, now they're side by side. I thought he got by Scott Riggs.
1.5 V-shaped oval. They are in the tri-oval area. That's just past the start finish line. Entering turn 1 now.
Coy drove it down in turn 1 series today. I'm tired of running side by side. Let me get down here and see if I can beat Joe down in turn number 1, and he did.
Somebody asked Coy, I think his brother JD asked Coy about how does it feel in the straightaways, and one of the crew members said, Coy said it's like John Force. Now I know how he feels. You just push the pedal down and it takes off like a rocket.
But he's also very good in the turns right now, too. It's not only horsepower down the straightaway. Gary sure Walter and all his guys have done a great job with this truck, and it's handling well, and Coy's doing a great job driving it.
He is indeed doing that. Great
Find
run.
your line now with him behind you. Picked up a big push in turn one. Just got to try to keep it on the bottom in three.
A week ago, we saw the young son of Rick and Linda Hendrick go to victory lanes. You watched the two veterans running first and second, and now another son of Joe Gibbs, Coy Gibbs, running in third spot. So a great training ground, a great place for young drivers to come learn the trade and be very competitive here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Back with more from Kentucky Speedway in just a moment. Glad to have you back here for our NASCAR coverage on ESPN of exciting Craftsman Truck Series action at Kentucky Speedway here in Sparta, Kentucky. Battle heating up a little bit. Jack Sprague has reeled in Ted Musgrave. Let's check in this Sprague pits with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, on that last restart, it didn't take very long for Ted Musgrave to get ahead of Jack Sprague. They've got a good battle on the racetrack now as the number 24 is looking to the inside, and I believe he's going to make that pass. Good battle here, and Sprague will take that position. But Sprague came on the radio and said, guys, we're totally getting beat by engine here. Musgrave has a lot more motor. And Dennis Connor, his crew chief, got on the radio and said, well, I'll tell you what, take it to the garage and we'll change it and put another engine in it. He said, if you don't like that option, you just got to live with what you have out there. So they're having a little bit of fun, but apparently that engine in Jack Sprague's truck's pretty good because he just made his way around Musgrave.
Indeed, Jack Sprague going back to the lead. We mentioned Dodge won the first 8 in a row to begin the year, and of course Chevy has won 3 of the last 4. Jack Sprague in the last 6 laps, folks, last 6 races, Jack Sprague has led more laps, 557, than all the Dodges combined, 200. He's in fact led plus as many laps as all the Dodges combined, 275. So Sprague has been that dominant in the last 6 events, but only has 1 win, and that's coming at Texas.
He's had a lot of chances to win, and you know some of the problems he had they brought on by themselves. Some of the problems they didn't, but you got a great truck. You know, he told us early on when the Dodgers were winning all those races, he said, "Yeah, I can run with these guys if we stop making mistakes. I can run with them."
Which indicates that he's got pretty good horsepower for B&R, Kenny Bingham and Ronnie Revis. Here's a battle as Riggs. That's for 4th spot. There's Ruttman in the Dana Dodge. Riding on board with Riggs. 150th anniversary for Team ASE.
Great to see the groove widen out as much as it, and we saw Joe Ruttman. He was at least 2.5 lanes up from the inside of the racetrack, so it's great to see the racetrack widen out like this one is. You see him there. He's already up into the 2nd groove and making great time.
Busch cars ran here last month. The trucks came here a year ago and are back again this year. And the fans were talking about the great 2-wide racing. And you watch John Wood in the 50 Eldon Ford coming off that great run. An impressive performance, top 5 finish last week at Kansas. John Wood, who qualified 5th, finished 4th. And only his 3rd run for Jack Roush, and now right on the tail of Billy Bigley.
Great battle for the 9th position right there.
Tire rub.
Heard Max Jones are talking about a tire rub on John Wood's truck, the 50 truck. Still in the 10th position there. I don't see any smoke, so a lot of times John will be able to see smoke inside the truck a lot quicker than anybody else. Well, there may not be any smoke on the outside, but he can see the smoke on the inside and actually smell it.
John's dad, Eddie Wood, was at Milwaukee to watch his son race. His mom, Carol, was here this week, and she couldn't stand it anymore. She had to come to the racetrack to be a part of the excitement of this young man. What a nice young man, and what a talent.
She was traveling during last week's race. You know, John had such a great race, and she said she was traveling. She turned the radio on. She couldn't listen anymore. She turned it back off, and she just a nervous wreck.
Well, she's here watching the young man tonight, making his 4th start here for Jack Roush Racing. And we are told he will be in this truck for the remainder of the year. So that's great news for this 19-year-old.
This is crew chief Dan Binks saying that we're faster than that truck. You're going to have to get by him. He's just holding us up in the turns. But it's one thing to catch a truck, and it's another thing to pass him. You pick up the aero push we're always talking about. So you may be a half a second faster than somebody, but when you get to him, then you lose that front downforce, and it's awfully hard to pass.
Back up front, they go by the Tom Power. Leaders going by the Tom Power 55 truck. Sprague in the 24 Net Zero truck has led 26 laps. He has led 3 times for a total of 26 laps. Musgrave led 56 laps. There have been 4 lead changes among these 2 drivers, between these 2 drivers. We are past the halfway point now. 9 laps past the halfway.
Trucks look very close right now. Very, very, very close. Talked to a lot of the crew chiefs this morning. Some of the guys were saying as few as 50 laps they could run on fuel, and some were saying as many as 60. So right now we see Ted Musgrave. He's drafting off of Jack Sprague, so he's saving a little more fuel right now than Jack Sprague is, but depends on the caution flags fall. We may not see any green flag pit stop, so it might not even matter.
People may wonder, well, are they going quick enough to draft? Well, I would say at 167 miles an hour or whatever, they actually average over 164 right now at lap 85. They qualified at almost 167.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier that Scott Riggs actually ran faster last night in happy hour than the pole position. So, the thing is, these trucks, anytime it's cooler, the trucks are going to run faster here. So we're going to watch and see what kind of speeds they're running at the line. You see there's 163. Ted Musgrave was just a little bit quicker that time than Jack Sprague, over 163 miles an hour. There's Terry Cook. We haven't talked much about Terry Cook. He's up in the 6th position right now, 3rd fastest speed that lap.
Terry was making a pass early in the race tonight, involved in a little incident, had to go up high, come on the pit road, a little bit of sheet metal damage, but having a great run in his second outing with the new sponsor on board. Great effort for Terry Cook. Power Stroke Diesel folks coming on board the K Automotive machine.
See Ted Musgrave, that as Jack Sprague told us, we got a report, Ted Musgrave is going down the straightaway right now. He would love to get by Jack Sprague. He's not, I don't think he's complacent and wanting to run in 2nd position. So you see him look on the inside there. He's going to use that Dodge horsepower right there to beat Jack down into turn number 3.
Musgrave retakes the lead. This is the truck he won with at Milwaukee. Finished 2nd at Kansas City last week, 6th at Memphis. One of his favorite trucks in the Ultra Motorsports Jimmy Smith stables. Musgrave, the winningest driver this year in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action, a 4-time winner. And he's leading here as we move in on the 90-lap mark. Back in a moment. Tomorrow, RPM today, coming your way at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 8:30 Pacific. RPM tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time. So all the updated action. Whit Watson will bring you updates on what's happening. Michael Schumacher attempts to tie the great Alain Prost at the Grand Prix of Great Britain. And a preview of card action, all on RPM today and RPM tonight, coming your way tomorrow. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Well, an unfortunate day, or should say night, for Rick Crawford, who has climbed out of the Milwaukee Electric Tools Ford. Amy?
That's right, Jerry, and this was his favorite Dover truck that you ran so well in. Was it the engine? Did it lock up on you?
Yeah, actually the oil pump locked up. I felt it going into turn 3 on the Milwaukee Electric Tool Ford. It's a shame. Running decent. 50th anniversary of the Sawzall. Celebrating tonight here with a new paint scheme from Milwaukee. It's a shame. We'll get them to Loudon.
And Rick Crawford has been very successful with crew chief Gray Stockton, as we see the two of them walking away right now. And indeed, he will be back. You can count on that Milwaukee Electric Tool Ford.
No doubt about that for Rick Crawford and Rocket Ray Stock. It's a pretty good battle brewing here. Got a couple of Roush trucks, although the 99 truck is being shown 2 laps out in 20th spot. That is John Wood in the 50 there behind the 75 of Billy Bigley, and they're waging a heck of a battle. That is for 8th position.
I'm not sure who's driving that yellow and white truck, number 88, because we told him we would not talk about him this race. He played in the softball game we talked about earlier, and he hit the ball at our producer, which was not very nice, and we told him we would not talk about Matt Kraft in any of this race, but he's running so well, we're going to have to talk about him a little bit.
All right. Reigning Featherlight Southwest Series champion Matt Kraft, pretty good athlete. When you can direct a softball at somebody like he did, that shows he's got a lot of talent. Currently being shown in 7th position, driving for Duke Thorson. Fast Track Driveway Cedar Chevrolet.
By the way, our producer did not catch the ball either.
I wasn't going to mention that. But now she did. She did. Battle for 7th, 8th, and 9th position. 4 laps away from the 100-lap mark. And now Bigley inside of Crafton for position. Billy Bigley coming off his best finish in NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action. Last week he finished 5th at Kansas Speedway. Here comes Crafton back. Now, if you're John Wood, what do? Do you follow Crafton, or you dive down and and follow Bigley by.
I think I'm going to dive down and follow Billy Bigley as we see Billy Bigley go ahead and make the pass. Matt's trying to fight back on the outside and actually going to get back up beside Billy Bigley. You know, Billy Bigley ran the ARCA race last night, so he's got a lot of experience on this racetrack.
ARCA Remax cars were here last night at Kentucky Speedway. Good crowd last night. Two-time champion Frank Kimmel taking the win in that one. Bigley again in the Spears manufacturing machine. Side-by-side action. Boy, I love that. I've only been here. It's the first time I've been here, and I love this racetrack.
It was a great racetrack. I really had a great time in the Morton Salt car when we ran the Busch race a month or so ago. So really hated we had trouble, and I got into the fence, but had a great time. Great facility. Great action.
Let's check in the Eldon pits with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, I was a little curious as to whether they'd leave John Wood in this number 50 truck throughout the rest of the year. You know, I kind of figured they'd run a handful of races and then take him out and keep his rookie eligibility, but they said no. Here's the reason why. John Wood has been really good at communicating with crew chief Dan Binks and telling him exactly what the truck needs during practice, happy hour, and during the race. It's the communication factor between the driver and the crew chief that has gotten him that ride.
Absolutely. Communications is so important, and that's what when they go over and have what they call the gong show, where they bring drivers in and let them run laps for different owners, they look at that. Communications is as much as important as being able to drive on the racetrack.
You know, we talked earlier this season that Roush may run as many as 4 trucks next year, depending obviously on sponsorship, but they've all actually been trying out some drivers in the last couple of weeks. We talked to Max Jones yesterday, and he said that they've been on the road trying drivers out in the last couple of weeks. So if they're going to run 4 trucks, they're looking for the drivers right now.
Talent search ongoing, and what a great place to bring a driver. NASCAR's Craftsman Truck Series, and pretty good guys over the years. How about a Kurt Busch or a Greg Biffle that came in here from running the regional series out in the Northwest and Southwest Series tours and come here and make a name for themselves and move on to the NASCAR's Busch Series or Winston Cup.
How about Mike Skinner, Ron Hornaday, people like Kevin Harvick, people like that.
Stacy Compton. As you watch this battle here, the 20 and the 2, that is 3rd and 4th, left side of your screen. Boy Dips, right side, the points leader, Scott Riggs. Our Wagner race recap shows that Ted Musgrave has led 69 of 99 laps. There have been 5 lead changes, 4 caution flags for a total of 19 laps, bringing the average speed down to just under 120.5 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, Musgrave and Sprague. Sprague, of course, was the pole sitter, his 4th pole of the year, 17th career in Craftsman Truck Series action. Willie T. Rip, Morgan Shepherd out, Donnie Morlock, Chris Horn involved in an incident not of his own doing early on. Sammy Sanders, the 07 Gene Christensen, and Lance Hooper, the former Winston West Series champion, having to park the Joey Sontag machine. Well, getting set for pit stops on pit road. Fuel mileage very critical. We'll come back and cover them at Kentucky Speedway in just a moment. Back at Kentucky Speedway, Joe Ruttman just a moment ago decided to come in a couple of laps early in the Dana Dodge, came on the pit road, took on 2 right side tires, had a little trouble with the jack. The jack may have actually come back down. Take a look and watch the pit stop. Watch the jack man on the left side of your screen. Did he come off the jack?
He was carrying a tire by. Actually, it might have been the tire carrier. It was Jackman carrying the tire by and actually hit the jack handle, turned it down. So down, it actually fell down. It screwed up the rear tire changer and a tough break. And then Joe stalled the truck trying to leave the pits.
Let's check in the pits with Amy.
Well, yeah, very disheartened crew because we had said that this was part of their grand scheme of things to give Joe some fresh right side tires. Well, they did that, but they did lose a lot of time, and we're going to see some more green flag stops coming up here soon. So not unusual for Joe Ruttman here at Kentucky because his past 2 visits here, trucks last year was a crash, and in the Busch race a month ago was a crash. So he hasn't crashed, but still something about this place, and Joe Ruttman just doesn't agree.
I thought his luck would turn around having coached a winning softball team, but maybe not. We'll see. There's the 88 truck, Matt Crafton running in 6th spot. John Wood challenging back in 7th. That's John in the 50. Bigley back in the 75. Dennis Setzer would be in the 46 behind these guys. He is the last car on the lead lap. Just 9 trucks, I should say, on the lead lap. So you watch Wood and Crafton battling for 6th.
Seems as though John Wood has been side by side with somebody for the last 30 laps. So you see Matt Crafton making some good time on the outside. I wondered why he was so wide in turn 3 and 4 that last lap, but he really found a nice groove over in turn 1 and 2 on the outside.
Matt Crafton came here ran the All-Pro race early in the year. As you watch this battle for third position. Riggs going inside of Gibbs, and now Gibbs tries to come back.
Good side-by-side racing right here. As Amy mentioned earlier, Scott had to change engines in this truck. Scott and the crew had to change engines in this truck, but Timmy Cahoon told me, he told Scott, says, I don't want to worry, but this is the actual engine we're putting in is the one you won with at Dover. So Scott was pretty happy about that.
Here's our leader, Ted Musgrave, in the Mopar Dodge, 45 miles an hour, headed to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Gary, last time they were in was lap 51. They did right side tires, and it'll be the exact same thing this time. Just a little bit of a chassis adjustment. On the front tires, Dwight Cobb, Drew Blickensderfer on the rears, and it's Troy Phillips, the Jackman. They get the right sides done. Tires come over here. Musgrave's been waiting patiently as they do make that little chassis adjustment. Can of fuel is in, and Musgrave goes back to the racetrack.
Great pit stop by the Mopar crew down there for Musgrave, Fred Wanke and crew. A nice job making an adjustment. Here comes Jack Sprague, pole sitter, the Net Zero Chevrolet. Let's go back down the road.
Sprague coming in, talking about the truck being a little bit tight after that last pit stop, so they will make a chassis adjustment here, definitely an air pressure adjustment. Now back to Amy East.
Well, Terry Cook has rallied from 22nd up to 5th. He's getting right side tires and fuel, and it's a 10.6 stop, so an awesome pit stop. Ray Dunlap.
It's 4 tires for Jack Sprague. They have decided to do the opposite of what Ted Musgrave did, so this pit stop will be a little bit longer. They did make that chassis adjustment, 22 seconds even, but a longer pit stop than Musgrave, but Sprague will have 4 tires where Musgrave just changed rights.
And here's the battle for the lead. A couple of young gladiators at 20 and the 2. Dodge and Chevrolet. The MB&A Chevy has the advantage right now for Coy Gibbs. Here comes the points leader, Scott Riggs, on the bottom of the racetrack. Riggs has the preferred line. Slides up in front of Gibbs. And the 88 is on pit road in front of you, Amy.
Well, young Matt Crafton is coming in for right side tires and fuel. And just behind him, Dennis Setzer's Axiom Chevrolet, also right side and fuel. They're going to make a track bars adjustment for Dennis as well.
See both those Chevrolets leaving. That's Crafton and Setzer. Setzer the winner at Memphis. The pole sitter last week at Kansas Speedway. The Axiom Chevrolet, Morgan Dollar Motorsports. Right side damage there, just in front of the rear tire and a little bit behind it.
I'll bet you that damage was from the tire change, because when you pull the tire off, it looks like he clipped the side of the truck right in front of the tire and actually pulled it out.
Damage on the left front of Lance Norrick's AB Choice machine, and all the way down the left side. Lance, of course, who led laps here last year. Led in this truck at Memphis, led 5 laps early in the year, the Oklahoma City driver. The Venice-bearing Chevrolet.
I think that was probably damage from that earlier wreck that Ricky Hendrick started by spinning out, because there were so many trucks involved in that racetrack. A lot of them got a little bit of damage.
And here comes the points leader, who is also the race leader. And the second place truck. Here is the Dodge of Riggs. The Chevrolet of Gibbs, Ricky Hendrick. Let's go down to the Gibbs pit first.
Last out of the second can. I'm going to go.
Well, Coy Gibbs is having an awesome race. We just may see, again, we don't consider Coy a rookie, but really he is a rookie to our series this year, as he has not run a full season with us. So the MB&A team is going to give him, looks like right side tires, no chassis adjustment. Let's go to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Amy, they're going to the right side here for the number 2 truck. As I told you earlier, Scott Riggs was complaining about the truck not being geared correctly, but that was an incredibly fast pit stop. They should be able to make up a good bit of time on the racetrack as Riggs gives up the lead to come to the pits.
Here's the 50 of John Wood coming down, bringing the Eldon Ford down to the Roush team as they will go in. Dan Banks and company.
John actually inherited the lead, so he was actually the leader when he hit pit road.
And Billy Bigley going backwards in the Spears Manufacturing Chevy. After that great 5th place finish last week at Kansas Speedway, here is John Wood in front of Ray.
Well, it'll be right sides and fuel here for Wood this time. Dan Banks coaching him through this, saying make sure you keep the wheels straight. Keep the brakes on. Get ready here. And they do have a little bit of a hold up here in the back. Got to make sure you got lots of fuel in it. The tires are on. No problem there. Now back to Amy.
Well, the 75 of Billy Bigley made a costly mistake. He overshot his pit. So so the crew had to push him down pit lane. They gave him left side tires, and that's going to cost him on a green flag stop.
Tough break for Billy Bigley. There's the contact between Musgrave and Crafton, and Musgrave will go in the wall, spin around, and the leader tapped in the left rear as he's going by Matt Crafton. And heavy damage. There is the Crafton, the fast track driveway sealer Chevy. Looks like he's got some right rear damage.
You'll bring it on around. Get it so I can see it. Let's talk.
Looked like Matt slid up into Ted Musgrave a little bit there and knocked Ted into the outside wall and made hard contact.
Musgrave, a four-time winner, had led 80 laps tonight out of 118 thus far. Came into the night fourth in points, just 97 out of the lead, and now his truck has come to a halt. Ray?
Well, Jerry, Ted Musgrave just talked with Fred Wanke on the radio, and he said, we are done for the night. Now, we have heard that happen a couple of times this year where trucks actually went back, made repairs, and came back out. But Ted says we're done. Must have been a pretty hard impact.
Well, the Mopar team's still going to give it an effort. The Ultra Motorsports team, Jimmy Smith, who owns this truck. So we are under caution for the fifth time tonight. The leader comes into contact. Crafton and Musgrave will sort it out when we come back in just a moment. Randy Tolsma is the leader at Kentucky with 31 laps to go. Tolsma back on the lead lap, and the Ambusher Chevrolet in for what should be their final stop, right?
Well, it sure could be, Jerry, but remember the last time they came in here, they had a good bit of fender damage to work on, so they continue to pull that right side out. Randy gets his service on the rights, and he will go away. We also see that Coy Gibbs in the number 20 came in to get right side tires during that pit stop. And Ruttman was also in, so a good bit of activity down here. Now, John Wood, the number 50 truck, just came in, and they decided they would do left side tires. No chassis adjustment, though, so we've got some good trucks that are going to be up front here, and it's going to change the complexion of this race. We got a lot of different guys to the front now that Musgrave has gone to the garage.
Well, good pit stop for Craig Hewitson and the Tolsma crew. Blair Betts, the rear tire changer, getting Tolsma out in less than 12 seconds. Here's the damage. We are under caution for the fifth time today. Matt Crafton in the fast track driveway sealer Chevrolet coming off turn 2. There was contact between he and Ted Musgrave, the leader. Crafton had just pitted a moment ago. The Duke Thorson on machine. Crafton, one of the rookies, of course, reigning Featherweight Southwest Series champion. They're trying to get this, some of the sheet metal damage hammered out. Let's show you what happened a moment ago to bring out caution for the fifth time.
Doc, watch Matt Crafton on the inside. He's going to get loose. You're going to see the back end slide out right here. You see, he corrects it. But when he corrects it, he slides up the hill into Ted Musgrave, and around he goes, and both of them make hard contact in the outside wall. You mentioned, Doc, during the break that was right after a pit stop. The thing is, that's when there's another angle. If you see him get loose, you see it wiggle, then he has to chase it up the hill. Right after a pit stop, when you put all that fuel in the back, you get a lot more rear weight than you used to have. We call it the pendulum effect. That weight swings around there that makes the truck looser than it is after you run a number of laps and burn the fuel out. And that's what happened to Matt Crafton. A tough break, and a tough break for the leader, Ted Musgrave.
Let's go down to Amy East.
Well, remember when Rick Crawford said it was the 50th anniversary for the Sawzall? Well, this team is using it on Matt Crafton's Chevy, and that's not a good thing. He's also being penalized one entire lap on top of already having a severely damaged truck. That is because he passed the pit car, I'm sorry, the pace truck, there we go. He passed the pace truck when he came down pit lane. That's a big no-no. You can never pass the pace truck once they have picked up the field, and Matt Crafton, being a rookie, was frustrated and just gassed it down pit lane, so he'll be held for an entire lap.
Matt Crafton, 7 top 10s in the last 9 races, 2 sixth-place finishes for the man who sits third in the rookie points, but right now he sits on pit road as laps are winding down at Kentucky Speedway. What a crowd on hand. Well over 40,000 have come to Kentucky Speedway. Great fans from the Cincinnati area, from Louisville and Lexington, and all over Kentucky and Indiana and Tennessee, enjoying NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action at one of the best racetracks I think it's ever been built.
It sure is. And I'll tell you, they've seen a great race tonight, and the thing is not over. Here you see our leader, Scott Riggs. The reason he's leading the race, there's Jack Sprague, the 24 truck in second, They did not pit on that caution flag. We saw them make their green flag pit stops. They stayed out when the caution flag came out. Now they're first and second. The reason Scott Riggs is in front is because he only changed 2 tires. Jack Sprague changed 4 tires on his pit stop.
And Randy Tolsma, who was a lap down, had not made his green flag stop. So the Ambusher Chevrolet, the 61 truck, now there is Tolsma, now being shown in 3rd position. He finished 6th here last year in a Dodge. So great run for Tolsma. The teams have worked so hard, talking about Team Renzi, to get this truck running better and better and better. And tonight could be a very special night for Tolsma and this team.
A great rebound for that team. They really struggled the last few weeks, as you mentioned. A great turnaround, good qualifying effort, and they're running great. Here we look at Travis Quapple. Quapple may be the biggest beneficiary from that caution flag. He had not pitted either. We saw him get a lap down earlier. He was involved in that early skirmish with Ricky Hendrick. Got a lap down. Now he had not pitted under green. He made his pit stop under caution. He's in 4th position with 2 fresh right side tires.
Quapple started back in 18th, and this is a home game for truck owner Mike Addington from nearby Ashland, Kentucky, in the Cat Rental Chevrolet. Let's go down with Amy, who's standing by with our former leader.
Ted Musgrave, you had a very strong truck. First of all, are you okay? Because it took a hard hit.
Oh, that wasn't a hard hit. Yeah, I'm fine. I mean, that ain't nothing. You know, the trucks are so safe out here, you know, that it's a tribute to what Craftsman does with these things. You know, I'm fine. I'm ready to go again.
Will you go again, though? And what happened on that crash? What was your perspective from that crash?
I'm not really sure. Like I say, I had the lead. I was just going around the outside of people, just, like I say, just trying to pass people wherever they wanted to run. I'll just take the other groove. And, you know, from what I could see, Matt, you know, didn't control the truck, got loose, and then he turned right up into me and hit me in the left rear quarter. And that was the end of my day. So, I don't know. Like I say, he was just trying real hard. I got on him, and he was trying hard to keep the lap, I guess, and overdrove it.
Can we get back out there?
No, the truck's too bad. It's destroyed really bad. And it's my best truck, too. That's the one we've been winning with. So we'll probably have to load it up, take it back to the shop, see if we can repair it, and go to New Hampshire with it.
That's what I thought, you guys. Although Ted's ready to get back out there, this truck is hurt pretty bad.
Well, how about the crew? They were pretty upset. There's the Mopar crew watching as our ESPN monitors. They saw the incident happen a little bit ago on our monitors, and boys, they're very, very frustrating as they pack up down there and now work on going on that Dodge. Tough break for Ted Musgrave.
It sure was. Ted Musgrave got within 100 points of the lead in the points championship. That was the closest he had been since the 5th race of the season. So tough break, and this is certainly going to set him back a little bit.
Indeed. They're not quitting, though. No quitting this Ultra team. They're going to try to do the best they can, but probably not going to make it back on the racetrack. We'll be back with the green flag in a moment. Back at Kentucky Speedway, getting set for the restart. They double up. Actually, they triple up a little bit over in the back straightaway. We check in quickly with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, Scott Riggs will be our leader here as we get ready to go at lap 126 with this green, but he has been on the radio a number of times talking about a bad vibration in that number 2 truck whenever he gets up about 9,000 RPMs. So Timmy Cahoon said, is it an electrical thing or is it a vibration in the drivetrain? He said it's definitely in the drivetrain, not electrical, and it's not a tire. So it's something in either the transmission or something in the rear gear, but something giving Scott Riggs a pretty good vibration. We'll see how he does on this restart as we go back to green.
That's great. That's good to know. You're getting ready to jam the throttle on to come through the gears. You got a vibration somewhere in the drivetrain.
And so even though Scott Riggs is their leader, that was Dennis Setzer on the outside, actually started the race from the outside in the front because he is on the tail end of the lead lap. He is allowed to do that.
He is the 9th truck on the lead lap, but Riggs actually is the leader of the 2 truck, left side of your screen. 1,600 feet down the back straightaway.
Scott Riggs on the inside of Dennis Setzer trying to put him back down 1 lap. Now there are only 8 trucks in the lead lap.
Riggs the leader. Sprague in second spot. Tolsma in the 61, back in 3rd. Then comes Quapple. Riding along with Travis Quapple. That's Tolsma in front of him there. Damage to the Ambusher Chevrolet on the inside of the racetrack, and he's sort of hung behind some lap trucks.
Sure is. That's Jimmy Hensley. He's having a great run in the 11th position right now. That's Jimmy right in front of Ricky Hendrick right now. You see Jimmy move over. Gentleman Jimmy move over to give Ricky Hendrick the outside line.
And Tolsma in the 61 being passed by Coy Gibbs. Tolsma hung behind Hensley, and Gibbs will go by. And that was for position. That's for the spot.
3rd position right there. Coy Gibbs taking over 3rd from Randy Tolsma.
Now Tolsma was able to get around Hensley. Whoa, and Gibbs is sideways. Can he save it?
Catch it, catch it.
Jumps in the
Watch out,
throttle.
Jimmy. Oh, just caught the rear of Jimmy Hensley.
We just spotted and we got hit.
And they spin around, and the caution flag is indeed waving.
Keep coming. Caution's out. Keep coming. We got hit in the front. My fault. 17 gonna run me up there.
You heard Corey's radio. He said, my fault. Said Ricky Hendrick, the 17 truck, ran him up a little bit high there. But,
well, the 17 got a lap back. 46, Setzer looks like he may have gotten a lap back. So now we've got 10 trucks on the lead lap. Now there's the damage. Oh, what a great night Coy Gibbs has had. And take a look at the damage on the MB&A Chevrolet.
Left side, I need a left front tire.
yeah, Coy needs a right front tire, too. It's as flat as can be.
Down on the tire.
And as you mentioned, a great run by Jimmy Hensley. He was being shown in 11th spot. Driving for Randy and Merrill McDonald. Again, what happened a moment ago?
Top of the screen there. You see Ricky was just a little bit off the white line there and got Coy up a little bit too high. We know it's too wide. And the groove's two trucks wide, but looks like maybe Coy got his right rear stuck out of the groove and around the thing went, and would have been okay if Jimmy Hensley was trying to avoid him, went down on the inside. Coy spun down to the inside. And
did you see Lance Norrick? I mean, what a great job Norrick did to miss the back of Hensley.
There's another view here. You see him on the outside there. He's actually not that wide, but he just gets a little bit loose there. Might have caught the right rear out on the loose stuff, and around he goes. So he did a great job of staying in the throttle to keep it out of the outside while you see Travis Quapple going by on the outside. But Jimmy Hensley committed to the inside, and Coy, the truck finally caught up, went down the hill and into Jimmy Hensley.
Watch the 90 just inside. Okay, now from Travis Koppel's onboard camera.
We're looking, there's Jimmy Hensley in the 72 on the inside. That's Randy Tolzman right in front of Travis Quapple. You see Coy, he wiggled a little bit. Ricky kind of went to the outside. He wiggled a little bit. Great job by Travis getting by on the high side.
Great job of the folks in the truck giving us all those replays in different angles. Let's check in the Gibbs pits with Ray.
Well, Jerry, it really looks a good bit cosmetic here. It doesn't appear that they have any damage to the radiator, so that's good news. They're going to do right side tires here. Make sure that's done. They're going to have to button up the front end here a little bit, get some duct tape on this so that they can get back out there. Coy 10th in points coming into this race, so they do want to get going. Now they've shut the engine off right now so that these guys can get in there and do the work they need to. Hood's going to go up. Now that can be a problem whenever you've had damage like this, because if they open the hood, then they may have trouble getting it back down. So I think they've decided not to open the hood, but there doesn't appear to be any radiator damage. No fluid coming out of there. They're taking a look at it here. And there is, I don't know what they're doing there on the right front, but they need some wrenches here. So there's something that's broken there that they're going to have to fix.
And a true test for the Craftsman wrenches. There they throw them down and grab some more. So we'll come back and figure out how they fix the MB&A Chevrolet of Coy Gibbs in a tough break for him in a moment. Back at Kentucky Speedway, laps winding down, working caution number 6 of the day. Scott Riggs, our leader, talking about a 1-2 punch for Musgrave and Riggs at the halfway point of the season. Between the two of them, 4 poles, 6 wins, 4th and 1st in points. 4th was Musgrave. He is now being shown out of the race back in 23rd spot. Of course, Riggs is the leader. He was the leader in point standings coming in to this evening by 49 over Ruttman. Well, the 61 of Randy Tolzma has the fresher tires. The Ambusher Chevrolet having his best run of the year back in 3rd spot. Amy?
Well, I just talked to Sam Renzi, and I said, for the first time, I'm down here in this pit for a good reason. So we're really excited for Randy Tolzma. They said back on pit at 119, they did have a great pit stop. They took right side tires, and they would love to try to get a second or maybe even a first out of this on these last few laps.
Wife Tiffany's expecting a baby. Hadn't been feeling real well all weekend. This could help the team, everybody. They get a top 5 finish. 18 laps to go.
Green, green, green.
Could have said it better myself. Green flag waving here with 17 to go at Kentucky Speedway in the Kroger 225.
Got 9 trucks on the lead lap right now, led by Scott Riggs, our leader. That's Ryan McGlynn right behind him in the black truck. He is in the 10th position, having a great run, 1 lap down.
Riggs comes at you, then Sprague, then Tolzman at the top 3, then Ruttman. 17 laps to go at Kentucky. Couple of future stars battling out. Remember the names. John Wood and Travis Quapple, two impressive rookies. Wood in the 50, the Eldon Ford, the Chevy, the Cat Rental Chevy for Travis Quapple, side by side for 6th spot.
Look at Dennis Setzer in the 46. He was sneaking a look on the inside of Travis Quapple. You see John Wood on the inside. He was able to get by Travis Quapple. Trying to get by his teammate right now, Nathan Hosley. 3 wide going down into turn number 3. They fan out into 2 wide. Dennis Setzer now, he has pressure tires right now.
Battle for 3rd spot. Rutman with a dodge inside of Tolsma. Tolsma has some damage where he was tagged by McGlenn early in the evening. Spun around and Rutman able to make the pass. Rutman takes 3rd. Tolsma is 4th. Terry Cook now looking to the inside of Tolsma. Great run for the Power Stroke diesel effort for Terry Cook, now being shown in 5th position.
Terry Cook going to look on the outside, and Randy Tolsma coming off of turn number 4. Don't get up too high, Terry.
15 laps to go. Right side damage on Tolsma's Ambusher Chevrolet. Cook now trying to use the high groove. You drove here in the bush. How high can you go? Now, here's Cook back in the throttle early.
You can go that high. Great move by Terry Cook. You see, there's only 14 laps to go. He has to go now to move up. Up into the 4th position he goes. Now he's going to head off after Joe Rutman.
Back in 5th spot. Briggs the leader. Sprague in 2nd spot. Rutman, then Terry Cook, then Tolsma, then John Wood and Quapple.
John Wood going to look on the inside. Looks like at Randy Tolsma as we go down into turn number 1. Randy able to beat him down in the corner. Remember, John Wood took 4 tires on his green flag pit stop. Randy Tolsma, I'm sorry, he came back in and got 2 more tires. Randy Tolsma only has 2 fresh tires because he had not pitted under the green.
So fresher tires by the 50 truck, the Eldon Ford of Wood. The 19-year-old coming off a 4th place finish here up front. Here is Sprague moving in on the leader. Scott Riggs. Here's the battle for position. Wood inside of Tolsma.
Randy drives it down into turn number 1 to beat John Wood there. John comes right back on the inside, going to get up beside him, coming off turn number 2. There we see him right in the middle of the screen. Randy's able to beat him to the center of the straightaway.
Tolsma so desperately trying to reward his crew that have worked so hard. Craig Hewitt and company with a top 5 finish. They have worked their behinds off to get this truck. And now, how about a move to the lead? Sprague inside of Riggs. Chevy on the bottom. Dodge up high. It'll be 10 to go this time by.
Jack able to make the pass, going down into turn number 1.
It's just you and him out there by yourself.
Now remember, Sprague has led the most laps in the last 4 in a row, but it's had trouble in the late laps. Did not win last week, had engine trouble. Cut an oil line at Memphis. The Gremlins have bitten Sprague in the Net Zero Chevrolet.
We saw Jack snake down the back straightaway.
Time here, Scott. 10 to go.
You hear Timmy Kuth telling Scott Riggs we have a lot of time left. Jack Sprague snaked down the backstretch trying to break the draft, trying to get away from Scott Riggs.
Much of this crowd of over 40,000 on their feet watching the final 10 laps of the Kroger 225.
Was that a little bit of smoke out of Jack Sprague's truck?
Looked like a puff of smoke out of the left side. It couldn't happen to him again.
Unbelievable. That sure looked like some smoke. There's some look at. I'm telling you, something happened to the engine in that 24 truck, Jerry.
Unbelievable. Ray Dunlap.
Jerry, it just blew up. Jack Sprague came on the radio and said, "Can you possibly believe it? The engine just let go in the 24. Less than 9 laps to go to the victory."
There is Rhonda Sprague, and she cannot believe it. Neither can we. What does Jack Sprague and that team have to do to change their luck?
We saw that puff of smoke. I said, there's no way that can be what that is. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
He said when he had the winning hit in the bottom of the 7th inning the other night in the softball game, that was turning his luck around. He's still on the racetrack. Here's a pretty good battle. Bigley in the 75.
He's being shown in the 10th position right now. He's 2 laps down. There's a battle right there. Travis Quapple on the inside. Randy Tolsma on the outside. That's a battle for the 6th position right there. There's Ricky Hendrick back on the lead lap after that last caution flag. So he's running in the 8th position. Terry Cook smoking.
Smoke out of the left side of the 29 truck. Cook, who had a change of carburetor, has great side-by-side action. A pair of Chevrolets, Quaffle and Tolzma, and that is for the 6th position. And now Terry Cook showing smoke.
Inside of 10 laps to go. Unbelievable.
He's still running, though. Cook being shown in the 5th position. Began the year with 6 consecutive top 10 finishes. We're talking about Cook, 3rd twice at Martinsville and Gateway, trying to hang on for 7 more laps. Hey, and the 90 truck spins. That's Norris up into the wall with 6 laps to go. And remember, we will not finish under caution as the caution waves for the 7th time today. NASCAR Craftsman truck rules are we will get green, white, and checkered. Lance Norris at Venice Bearing Chevrolet sliding up across the racetrack. Heavy damage on the right side.
See the right front tire flat. It could have been from the spin, but again, as you mentioned, heavy damage right front and right rear.
Your Setzer was under this.
Sounds like it might have been some contact there between Dennis Setzer. We heard Lance Norris spotter talking about the 46 truck.
Get some right side tires up here.
Show you what happened a moment ago. Lap 144.
See, Dennis Setzer already going out of the screen right there. Lance already turned around, backed in the inside wall pretty hard. Take another look at it. There was actually contact between Dennis Setzer and the 46 truck and Billy Bigley in the 75 truck, and it looked like Lance Norris saw that. The trucks got sideways in front of him, and maybe he snatched the steering wheel or maybe hit the brake, and around the truck went.
Well, caution for the 7th time tonight. Lance Norris trying to get his damaged truck to pit road. We'll come back with the exciting finish from Kentucky Speedway in just a moment. Our coverage of exciting NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series action from Kentucky Speedway is being brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Tractor Supply. Whether you have 1 acre or 1,000, Tractor Supply will help you get the job done. And by CarQuest Auto Parts. You'll find it at CarQuest. Crowd on their feet, over 40,000 here at Kentucky Speedway. About to see a shootout here. We're going a little bit long. Baseball tonight coming up next. At the conclusion of this race, I'm Jerry Punch along with Phil Parsons, Amy East, and Ray Dunlap. Glad to have you with us here for stop number 13 of 24. Here's Travis Quaffle on pit road for a tire change. And let's check in down there with Ray.
Well, Jerry, Dennis Setzer said, let's come in and put right sides on it. We've got those tires left, and they're assuming that it's going to be a green-white checkered here, which it will be. So since they're in the top 10, he figured if they have any shot at the win, they might as well put rights on it. So he's going to give up a few spots there on track position, but he will have fresh tires. Will that help him in 3 laps, Phil?
Well, it might, Ray, but I'll tell you don't want to give up too much track position, but I don't think he didn't give up much because he restarted that last restart from the very back, so I don't think he's going to give up maybe 1 or 2 positions, but it's worth a gamble. We're getting reports that Travis Quaffle, the reason he pitted was he had a flat right rear tire, so that's why he came in the pits.
All right, getting set for the restart. Going to have quite a shootout here. 29 still got smoke from the Power Stroke Diesel sponsored Ford. Terry Cook being shown in 5th position.
That's not a diesel engine in that truck now, is it?
I don't think so, but it's been running awfully well.
It sure has.
We're told he dropped the cylinder. Getting set for the restart. Dion Henske will wave the flag as they come down.
It'll be interesting to see what happens to Jack Sprague now. If he's down a cylinder, then he shouldn't be much match for these guys behind him.
Riggs on the bottom of the racetrack. Rudman up high. Going by Sprague. As they scatter 2 wide with 2 laps to go in turn 1, Tolzma is up high on the outside of John Wood. That's a battle for position. Riggs the leader, then Rudman. Then Sprague, Wood, and Tolzma. 3 wide. It will come down to a white flag this time. Crowd on their feet at Kentucky Speedway.
And Randy Tolzma on the outside of John Wood there.
Tolzma digging for all it's worth. White flag for Scott Riggs. Now Tolsma on the bottom of the racetrack. Here is Sprague. Tolsma going after Sprague for third spot. Sprague slams the door.
Jack Sprague's done a great job with that truck. We know he's down a cylinder, but he's doing a great job keeping these guys behind him.
Down on the bottom of the racetrack, there comes Riggs. There is Ruttman in second. There is Sprague. Tolsma gets tapped. It's sideways and spins. It turns 3 and 4. The 61 truck gets tapped, goes around in 3 and 4. And here is the checkered flag for points leader Scott Riggs.
Scott, great. Hey, you guys, your pit stops are phenomenal.
Scott Riggs, his third win of the year. Unofficial results here for the Kroger 225. Riggs takes the victory. He will expand his points lead over Joe Ruttman. Sprague is third, Hendrick fourth, Poppel fifth in points. Musgrave loses 2 points. Next week we head out to New Hampshire International Speedway for the New England 200. That's next Saturday at 12:30 Eastern Time. For Phil Parsons, Ray Dunlap, and Amy East, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating Scott Riggs on his win in tonight's Kroger 225. So long, everyone, from Kentucky Speedway.